Hello, in today's video I'm going to talk about Angular debugging, some very simple but effective debugging techniques. If you build an Angular app, you run it, so something's wrong, you got an error message. If you can't figure it out, you may want to identify where the error is. Or if you run some ng test, some tests fail, you want to figure out, oh, where does things go wrong? It could be from some third-party data or probably your own code. So one very useful and effective technique is type annotation. You're using TypeScript, so annotate your variables, your return type, and your argument, so that if something that doesn't make sense is passed, it will catch the problem in the bud, nip the problem in the bud. So here, variable enrolled has to be Boolean. Anything else, error message. Variable egg is not annotated. You mouse over, variable egg implicitly has an any type, but a better type may be inferred from usage. So you want to type your variable when you can. So if something that doesn't make sense is passed, error message. So this class student has three properties, are all annotated, and another property is annotated. Here the method, return type is annotated. Another method, the argument is annotated, return type is void. So this interface has three required properties, and you can have any number of optional properties. The name has to be a string, and the property can be either string, number, or date. Anything else? Error message. So that's the power of type annotation. Nip the problem in the bud. A second very effective way of capturing a bug is display data. So something goes wrong. Oh, as the variable got corrupted, let's display it. You can display it in your console, like this guy. Console log. It's a very simple but effective tool. You press F12. See, they printed out loose. Yeah. Or you can just, in your template, student with a JSON pipe, you display this name clear school loose. You can look at the variable right away. So this is a very, very easy way of debugging. Yeah. Display the data. The third way is called Javascript Debugger. So this is also very effective. You can see when I launch that page, there's paused in debugger. Why? If you look at my source code, there's these debugger statements. It pauses the execution. And you can also check the console. Here, source, console. It printed out a hello world. And you click on this button or press F8 to resume the execution. It will stop at next debugger statement. And you look at the console, it prints out hello friend. So something has to be wrong between this debugger guy and the other debugger guy. So this way you can identify where the problem is. Of course, you need to understand your code, which gets executed first. Here, if you're rendering this component either through this router link or a tag, which serves as a constructor, you know the constructor is executed first, then the onInit, and then it calls another function called this check. And the function, of course, is just a regular call stack. So you need to understand who gets executed first. And to identify where the problem is, use this debugger statement. But there's one shortcoming because you edited your source code. And there's a warning because in your production code, you should never have this debugger statement. So you will have to remove them, which is a kind of hassle. So a better approach is to use this Chrome debugger. So to use this Chrome debugger, you have to install that extension, Visual Studio Code, debugger for Chrome, install it. Once you install it, you have installed it, you go to run, and there's open configurations. If you have done that the first time you use it, it will prompt you, it will open this guy up automatically. So all you need to do is replace this localhost like 810 or something with 4200 or whichever port you are serving your Angular app. You just replace this number with whatever you're serving your Angular app, then you can just launch this Chrome debugger with the F5 button. Start debugging F5. And once you start debugging, it will launch this guy, another instance. And you can go to this Chrome debugger page. You can see on this debug console, it prints out loose and something messes up. Because did we put any breakpoint? Okay, we didn't put any breakpoint. So here you need to click on these buttons. You can left click to add a breakpoint. This is kind of effective as the debugger thing. Another way of adding it is press F9 key. Highlight that row, press F9. That's even a faster way. F9 key. F9 to toggle this breakpoint. Yeah, we didn't add any breakpoint. after at this breakpoint, let's stop the debugger and restart the debugger. F5. So run start debug F5. So press F5. It will launch that guy again. And you visit that Chrome debugger page. Press F12. Oh, oops, this is F12. It will pause in debugger. It will pause here. You can, again, the same thing, F8. It will execute to the next breakpoint here. And the beautiful part is that you don't have to toggle in your console here. You have this debug console in your Visual Studio Code to print out the result, like the loose is printed out here. And in this debug panel, you also have this debug guy showing up to show you exactly which line is the breakpoint, current breakpoint. So this is a much more elegant way than the debugger thing we just talked about, because you have this dedicated Chrome debugger tool, and you don't have to modify your code. And when you add a breakpoint, just click your mouse or press F9 key while that line of code is highlighted. It's much easier. You have no cleanup to do. It launches a separate debugger instance. So that's the basic methods I want to talk about today about the debugging Angular app. The type annotation, display data, JavaScript debugger, which I wouldn't recommend, and Chrome debugger, which I would recommend. It's easier. Accomplish the same thing, but easier to use. Okay, that's it. Thank you.